What's up everybody, welcome back to another ProGuides video. My name is Nathan Ng, and today we'll be looking at the best ways to climb out of low elo. When it comes to playing in low elo, sometimes games can feel unwinnable. Between clueless allies, itching teammates, and the general learning curve of the game, you may feel a little bit lost. However, we're going to dive into what you can do to ensure that the majority of your games are winnable. It's a hard process and you may not win them all, but with enough patience and enough practice, you'll quickly slide through low elo and make your way through mid or high elo. Nonetheless, let's not waste any more time and let's jump right into the video. Starting us off strong, we've got the classic technique. When it comes to climbing out of low elo, you need to start with focus. Think of your focus as 100 points that you can allot to different things in the game. Depending on your champion, more of these points are allotted to your mechanics. The rest of your points get spread out across the laning essentials, map awareness, macro plays, and other things. The more complex your champion, the harder it is to invest more points into these other key areas. This is why it's often said that it's better to pick an easier champion during your climb. Over time, you'll slowly be able to move points from your champion focus into other areas. This is due to the fact that you'll be turning a lot of mechanics into muscle memory. The harder your champion, the longer this will take in the long run. Just be sure to take this into account when you're picking up champions. A great example of the point system is the Riven vs Singed matchup. Riven can often win this matchup by utilizing her kit well and focusing on combos. However, this takes a lot of points out of Riven's focus pool. Meanwhile, Singed may not win the matchup, but the extent of his kit makes it relatively easy to focus elsewhere. While Riven is running all of her combos through her mind and attempting to pull them off flawlessly, Singed just kind of walks around the lane to clear the minions with his Q, and if Riven engages, he just flips her away. This allows Singed to focus on other aspects of the game. He's able to pay attention to the map more, set up future plays easier, control his wave with ease, and more. Now, you don't want to take this as us saying that you need to constantly pick easy champions. Just make sure that you keep in mind how impactful difficulty can really be. If you're going to opt out for significantly difficult champions, then be sure to become a one-trick. This will allow you to develop your skills at a much faster rate. Plus, you'll be able to master all of your matchups easier since you're only playing one champion. Just make sure that you mentally keep track of your power spikes, matchups, itemizations, etc. With that, you'll be climbing much faster as you'll slowly overpower your opponent with your knowledge of your champion. And if you're not the one to make flashy plays, then simple champions are the perfect ones for you. Feel free to pick up 2 or 3 of them, but if you're comfortable with just one-tricking them, then there's more power to you. Being a one-trick of a simple champion like Annie or Garen allows you to focus on the game more, and it removes any delay from your climb. That being said, they may not be as fun to the average person, but who cares, as long as they're fun to you. Some people really enjoy basic kits far more than trying to learn how to do 200 Kiana combos. Regardless of which path you choose, be sure to limit your champion pool. Once you reach the ability to use 90% of your focus points on everything but your champion, then you'll shoot straight up the ladder. What better way to accelerate your one-tricking journey than to ask one of the best one-tricks in the world? Got a busy schedule? No problem. Our trained roster of coaches are here 24/7 to help you reach your goal. Anyway, let's dive right into our video with the next basic way to climb and escape low elo. Pulling us back into the video, we've got some of the strongest fundamentals in the game. Starting off, we need to talk about CSing. It's brought up everywhere you look. CSing is a core of League of Legends. And yes, that includes you, jungle, and support players. While you may not be looking to get 10 CS per minute, you still need to understand how valuable minions are. This is also paired with the importance of wave management. For our laners out there, try to aim for as high of CS as possible. This is especially true if you're on an ADC or somebody who heavily relies on gold for the power curve. 15 CS is generally equal to a kill's worth of gold. This means that if you end up missing 2 minions every wave, within 2 minutes, you already have missed out on a kill. Over time, this adds up and can really stall up your power spikes. To fix this, be sure to add some time and practice into CSing with your favorite champion. Everybody has a different base AD, attack speed, and projectile speed, so make sure you get comfortable. Speaking of which, it's extremely important to understand wave management. This skill alone is enough to shoot people up to high elo. Wave management allows you to maximize your gold income while also letting you limit your enemies. In winning matchups, you can force your opponents to be vulnerable to ganks and zone them off of gold and XP. And if you're losing, you're going to be able to set up waves so you don't die and can safely get resources. As for our junglers and support players, make sure that you pick up on wave management as well. Trust us, there's nothing worse than your support perma-pushing a wave. Or better yet, having your jungle gank and then leaving your wave in a messed up state. If you're unsure of what your laners are looking to do, then be sure to ask them. It may seem like a simple idea, but as you rank up, wave management is as important as ever. Be sure to master it to the best of your ability. That way you can go ahead and control the wave while your opponent has no idea what's going on. You can even create simple concepts or rules for you to follow. While they won't apply every single game, it'll help you plan out the next few minutes. A great example of this is one that Sven uses on Misfortune. He will slow push the first 2 waves and then fast crash the third. This allows him to get a cheetah recall, so that way he can come back into lane with an item advantage without missing CS or XP. Afterwards, the lane bounces back, which allows him to freeze it. With this, he can now threaten a gank with his jungler since they're likely to be coming down for Scuttle or Grump for now. It's a simple tactic on paper that takes many people by surprise, even those in high ranks. So feel free to experiment with your own and see what concepts you can create. Now, before we continue on with the video, don't think for a second that we have forgotten about everybody's favorite ProGuides tradition. For our question of the day today, we want to ask you all, if you could give your past self a tip for climbing, what would it be? Honestly, I would probably tell myself to focus on one champion. I spent a lot of my early grinding days playing nearly every champion because I wanted to master them all, or at least try them out. I'm sure y'all have amazing answers, so let us know your answers in the comments down below. Nonetheless, let's get back into the video and check out the power of communication in solo queue. Moving on to our final main point, we have the power of communication. I know this one may not be super surprising, but it's not used often. We all know that communicating with allies is an important aspect of any team game. You see it in a traditional sport like soccer and football. It's also spotted in esports with games like Rocket League and Valorant. However, it's a little bit more difficult in League of Legends. With a lack of voice communication, it can be very hard and difficult to communicate with your allies. That being said, it's not the best to necessarily give out nor accept Discord links. Instead, all you can really do is type. Type to your allies and talk about what plays you should make next. Or tell them when you hit a power spike so you can look to fight. Make sure you ping to your advantage by pinging your allies. If the enemy team is coming from river, ping the river. Pinging on top of your allies doesn't provide any useful information and can be seen as annoying and even BM. Speaking of which, you need to find a balance of giving your team useful information and spamming mid-missing. No one, and I mean no one, likes to be spam pinged. Don't tilt your allies by constantly throwing out warnings and micromanaging them. There's a big difference between shot calling and being a backseat player for somebody. A lot of people don't also enjoy being told what to do, so make sure that you phrase your calls correctly. Don't word it to be demanding or toxic. It won't make anyone want to play with you. Instead, try phrasing it in a way that allows your allies to feel more in charge of the game. I mean, here's an example. Stop dying top, we outscale them if your laner doesn't get fed. This directly attacks your laner and can tilt them even further. Instead, you can phrase it like this: we scale really hard, we'll try to help top in a bit, hang in there. I know this sounds pretty ridiculous, but based off my personal experience, the team that wins is the one that doesn't tilt and stays positive. This not only tells your team your win con, but it also opens up a few options. Now your team is aware that the top lane is struggling and can look to help them. As for your top laner, it can make them feel a little bit better that they're not being flamed for performing poorly. And sometimes it's not even their fault. The matchup is just sometimes miserable. And honestly, trust me, top lane is full of miserable matchups, so whoever plays that lane, kudos to you. You must be a psychopath. While this may not always be the case, as some players may be really snappy, it's better to be safe than sorry and be on your team's good side. You want to all win the game, trust me, so make sure that you create an attitude that shows it. Before we continue on to the end of the video, if you want to join an amazing community of people like you that loves lists, talk pieces, and other things like this, check out our Discord using the link found in the description. So what are you waiting for? Join! Anyway, let's get back into the video. As we close out the video, we're going to be covering the last few things to touch on during your climb. While you may be looking to quickly grow and zoom up the ladder, make sure that you don't hinder your growth by looking for shortcuts. Yes, it can be easier to do it with a better player, but once you're on your own, it'll be harder to manage. Yes, you can also abuse extremely niche OP picks, but once you're out of the meta, you'll struggle to maintain your rank. With League, there are a lot of shortcuts that some players take because they don't want to learn the game. While it is fine to shorten your learning time with things like one-tricking or coaching, don't feel like you need to skip steps. Just because you learn the basics of weight management and hit platinum off of it doesn't mean that you should stop. Solidify your knowledge of it and then keep pushing forward. Which leads us to our final point. Give yourself space. Take some time for yourself, have fun, and enjoy the climb. Solo queue is notorious for its toxic environment and tilting gameplay. And trust me, it does not get better as you go up the ladder. Don't let yourself get angry over the game and lose your progress. Instead, take the time to untilt, focus on your growth, and queue up again once you're ready. You can race to the top, but when you're the only competitor, why sabotage yourself? It's a marathon, not a sprint. Trust us, you'll enjoy your climb far more if you focus on your growth as a player. The minute you focus too hard on LP and how your allies performed is the minute that you start losing. You can reach your goal with enough effort. We believe in our ProGuides family and their ability to climb. And that sums up our video for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. And don't forget, join our ProGuides family at ProGuides.com. We offer exclusive giveaways and classes that you won't catch anywhere else, so stay tuned and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you guys back in the next video, but until then, don't forget, stay safe, stay healthy, and have a wonderful day. Peace.